What Elon Musk did on Saturday was almost verbatim repeats Donald Trump's words on January the 6th.
Is it?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it is.
You've got to fight like hell. You've got to fight like hell. I'm going to go down there with you, but he didn't. But you've got to need a billionaire from another country trying to overthrow our government. That's plain and simple. That's what he's doing.
It is plain and simple. It really is plain and simple. I mean, I sometimes wonder whether overthinking things and overcomplicating things makes everything worse. He is literally saying you've got to get rid of your government, your democratically 18-month-old government with a decent majority, albeit low approval ratings. That is how democracy works.
He wants the dissolution of Parliament.
And he lied.
That's what he asked for.
And he jumped into bed with a man who lost an election, lied about it, and then launched an attempted... It's important to remind yourself, Robert. Thank you for reminding me of the words that Trump used on that day, because you can disappear, can't you, into a swamp of contemplation and thinking.
People are watching the same thing and taking different things away from it. Yeah. That's what you keep saying.
Yeah, you're right. But there's only one thing you can take away from this. His concern for democracy and government mandates is such that he jumped straight into bed with a bloke who lied about losing an election and contributed to a violent coup designed to overthrow the actual legitimate legal result. There's his concern for democracy in a nutshell.
Is it okay to say that Mr. Musk was having difficulty stringing a few words together on Saturday?
Well, it could have been the nerves, the scale of the occasion, or it could have been the intricacies of Tommy Robinson's, Stephen Yaxley Lennon's interviewing style. We can speculate until the cows come home. But what I want you to speculate on next is what Keir Starmer should be doing in this position, in this moment. They've got
to get on the platform and say this is wrong. Even though Trump's coming on Tuesday, Keir Starmer's got to say this is wrong. You've got your people in your country interfering in our politics. Stop it.
Yeah, just butt out. Can we think of any precedents? I mean, I remember when Barack Obama was here in the run-up to the referendum and he told us a few simple truths about what the relationship between the two countries would be in the immediate aftermath of a vote to leave. And he did so from a place of concern, diplomacy and decency. Nigel Farage had an embolism, but he seems to have suddenly become supremely comfortable about foreign politicians interfering in our politics. But can you think of a major figure of what they like to call leftists who's ever called for the violent overthrow of a democratically elected British government?
Well, the right wing's telling you that they are the ones that's doing all this violence.
I know.
We can't help it.
The phone lines are open. When was the last time a, quote, leftist, end quotes, with enormous power, reach and influence called for the violent overthrow of a democratically elected British government?
I was there on Saturday.
Oh, right, good. Do you regularly attend demos, or was this a first-timer for you?
No, I've been on several.
Right.
I'm passionate. I love my country.
So do I.
There wasn't 150,000, I can tell you that. More like 1 million plus.
Well, I've very carefully looked. All right, OK, I'll respect your view on that. I'm just going by what the police say.
Yeah, OK.
Right.
I walked around, I talked to people. I'm 63 years old. I'm not in the best of health.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I didn't feel intimidated. I didn't feel as if I was in danger. The police were absolutely phenomenal. They were lovely. They chatted, they talked, they were pleasant.
Brilliant.
There wasn't enough of them. I don't think they anticipated the volume of crowd. It was in the wrong place, really.
When you say it was in the wrong place, I know where would you have wanted to be?
I think it needs to be in a park. There was too many people.
But don't you want, effectively, the Prime Minister to hear almost out of his window, no?
Well, yes, absolutely. But I think...
See, if I put you in Hyde Park, that you're not really at the seat of government.
No, I know exactly what you mean, but this is going to grow. This is... from the first march I went on, it's going to grow. It's going to get bigger.
Lynn, slow down. When you say this is going to grow, what is going to grow?
I think the movement of the far right is going to get bigger, because I think earlier on...
Are you far right?
I'm right. I don't want to hurt anyone. I'm not a racist. I work with people that aren't Indigenous and things like that.
Right.
But I think I heard you say earlier on, we've got to sit round the table. That's what's got to happen, but they're not listening.
No, I can understand you say. But how worried are you? You don't. Well, I don't know you. We've been chatting for about a minute and 20 seconds. I'm going to take you on evidence that you're not far right. But How concerned are you that the far right, these people who arrive in balaclavas, which is always an indication for me, unless you're a school child in the winter, how worried are you that they might hijack it?
Maybe, but I'm at the moment, at my age, I'm frightened in my country. I'm frightened of everything.
Well, hang on. What are you frightened of, Lynn?
Well, I'm frightened because these unvetted young men that are coming in, it's not their fault. It's not their fault.
No.
But they're pushing them in houses next to people. They don't know who they are, where they've come from. I've always done the right thing. I've always worked. I've always paid my way and all that sort of thing. And, I seem to be demonised because, I've done that.
If, and let's hope it does, I fear it won't, if the one-in, one-out deal starts working later this week, would you sense then, this is a government that's trying to resolve it?
Yeah, but it's not going to work, is it? It won't work.
Well, we don't. I mean, I would always say about Rwanda, we'll never know about Rwanda. We'll always wonder about Rwanda, unless we try.
Of course, of course. I mean, and absolutely, and try it. But Mr. Starmer really needs to, like you said, sit round the table, talk, and listen to people.
I guess Musk is sort of engaging in what a lot of the right has done for eons, which is this is a case of stochastic terrorism. It's a lot of, to explain that quickly, it's usually influential figures being very vague about particular threats, and it's not to necessarily attack a particular thing, but it's to create the inevitability that somebody will cause an attack. And we've actually had it a lot in the UK as well. It's why, let's say, Reform keeps going on about the boats and all the hotels. And we saw that in the summer where there was more and more fervour about boats and the hotels, and eventually there were more attacks on hotels because they kept using inflammatory rhetoric. And this is something that they've done, and it's also what the Republican Party have done and continue to do after the assassination.
I mean, I giggle about they're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs, but it's a textbook example of what you describe, and it's the palatable one, isn't it? Because, I mean, with greatest of love and respect for pet lovers, very few people are going to be more troubled by claims about the treatment of animals than they are by claims about the treatment of humans. But the lie is the same. It's designed to portray, as you say, a kind of homogenous blob of often unspecified people as savages.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
and that is what could be happening here. Who is going to be... Savages are coming to attack you. Savages are coming to you. Violence is coming to you. Savages are coming... I can see what you're saying, actually.
Yeah, I mean, that's why, after the murder of Charlie Kirk, even before... there's still no evidence, but they immediately went for it's the left or it is trans. You have a Republican Representative Nancy Mace going... to interviews saying that they must be transler and asking for the death penalty. But then as soon as they found out who the culprit was, she changed it to, we have to pray for this person. Something must have radicalized them, because they don't actually have an interest in finding the cause. They have an interest in holding political power, and by removing opponents, by creating essentially hysteria.
I find it difficult to believe that if you have chosen to go on a march, by your St George's flag, understand that Tommy Robinson is the person leading that march. Tommy Robinson, who was in the British National Party, an openly racist party, and was then in the EDL, a party that was, again, very, very racist, and is now leading a very, very angry movement, which is leading in only one direction, which is the kind of behaviour that my parents witnessed on the march.
And what is that behaviour?
So the behaviour was a lot of angry, mostly men, but some women, shouting very, very angry and upsetting comments to all the people around them, throwing things at the police, throwing things at police horses, behaving in a really threatening manner.
What was making them angry? Is it the asylum seekers? Is it the hotels? Is it Keir Starmer? What's making them angry?
Actually, that's a question that I asked both my parents, and what they said was a big thing that people were talking about, which was the greatest irony, while they were standing there shouting all sorts of things that were offending a lot of people, which was that they didn't have freedom of speech. This concept, they are marching along through the centre of London in front of our Prime Minister, in front of and they then have a big screen booming up with Elon Musk, who has nothing to do with this country, saying that we all need to fight each other. And they're all worried somehow that our rights are being taken away.
Can I ask you, when your mum and dad got home, are they pleased they went? Are they distressed at what they saw? Excuse me, are they distressed at what they saw? What would be their overall reaction?
So their overall reaction was definitely that they felt down, I think. But what they both said was, I mean, my dad's worked for the NHS. He's a professor in an NHS hospital all his life. My mum was a special needs coordinator. She's worked in London schools all her life. And we're very proud Londoners, and we live in England, and this is not, what they said was, this is not what we want England to be.
How are we going to be now spending taxpayers' money on Trump and really give it... it doesn't make any sense to me.
That's the one bit I can make sense of, actually.
I'm glad you can.
Well, I mean, you know, in the context of trade, in the context of keeping him sweet, there's even a Brexit argument here that we are paying slightly less in ridiculous tariffs than the rest of the Europe, or what remains in the European Union are paying. And I mean, I would use the word appeasement probably, but I'm not quite sure that it would have been wise up until this point or the next point or the point after that not to appease the man who is the most powerful on the planet, not to appease the most powerful man on the planet. I don't know what the alternative is. I really don't.
I think our morals have been sold down the river, though,
Politicians can only do morals when they can afford it, Mandy. And you and I might not like that. And there are a few politicians who, forgive me, who like to pretend that that's not true, but it just is true. You can't feed your family with morals.
No, but I do think that he needs to take his platform and he needs to do more with it, or he needs to step aside. And I'm looking at the front, but I don't know who. No. But it just can't be.
What about
him.
just doing simply now, coming off Twitter completely? The UK government will no longer treat Twitter as a valid platform for our business. Would that be a good thing or a bad thing to do?
I think that would be a good thing.
What about the idea that you lose immediate access to millions of users and millions of citizens, millions of voters?
I think I don't know if people. I don't know. I can't be doing with Twitter anymore, because it's like you were saying about the algorithms. It's just, so I'm not on it.
Someone should ask Elon Musk why anybody who's not elected would want to control the flow of information to the public, but I don't know that I'll ever get the chance to do that.